Welcome back to another live and amplified indie fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. We are smack dab right in the middle of our pancreatic cancer fundraiser, and we have our next guest joining us. We have Freddie Joon. How's it going today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's 6 o'clock. It's like now my time to kind of like really get into things, and it's usually when I'm up, so the juices are starting to flow now. So
Great,
yeah.
great. It's 12 o'clock here, so a little bit later.
Right. So, excited to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with us. How's everything been going for you?
Yeah, it's been going good. In terms of music, it's been like a really busy year, and this kind of time of year is a little bit quieter, which is kind of nice to be honest. We're moving house next week, so it's all like a bit a bit crazy at the moment. But yeah, it's been a great year. It's been it's just been really good. I released my third EP, Unicorn,
Mm.
in May, and then we were playing like lots of festivals, and we did a headline show. And we released a couple of follow-up singles, and now we're just sort of winding down, getting ready to move house and getting ready for Christmas, I guess.
Nice. And so you released 5 songs or 6 songs this year. Yeah, math
Uh,
has never been a strong subject of mine, but
yeah, well, I guess technically set those, so there were five on the EP, and then
five.
I released two follow-up singles. The one I want to say in August, and then the other one just at the end of October.
Gotcha. Yep, that's right. I saw that. I just saw, like, for whatever reason, I saw the single that you released before You Choose Her, which is or You Chose Her, which is your current single out now, and I was like, oh, that's a double single. That tracks. So
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's in a really lovely way. I think we're actually going to release "You Chose Her" as the first single
yeah,
next year. But we just like we felt a lot of pressure because Unicorn went so well, and Boys Girl, or I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here, but
yep, you're good. Go for it.
okay, yeah, well, Fuck Girl went really well as well, and then we thought, oh, and everyone was like, release another one. When are you going to release? So honestly, we got fan peer pressured into releasing another one, which is really nice. But yeah, so You Chose Her was a bit unexpected, to be honest.
But that was something that you had like ready to go in case.
Yeah, it's actually one of the ones we actually wrote it back in we on 20 like in 2022. So we've had it ready for ages, and it's
Yeah.
been one of the favorite ones, and we've been playing it live for a good couple of years, and it's always the one that people are like, oh, where can I find that? And we're like, oh, it's not out. So yeah, it was kind of good. Luckily, it was good and good and ready to go. So we're like, well, we've got one, we can release it. But yeah, I'm really happy it's out now because we play it live all the time, so it's nice it's I guess it's always a bit tricky, when you play a song live and people are like, this is great, where can I find it? And I'm like,
Right.
at another live show.
Right. Hey, but that's what keeps them coming out to the live shows, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have that music that they can only hear at a show, and it's like that's why they're going to keep coming out, because I want to hear that music. And then yes, eventually you do have to, you should release it, because at some point people are going to stop coming out to shows for this song. But you know it's a whole thing. So
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
yeah. So you've had a busy year. You've released a whole bunch of music, which is really exciting. But you had taken a little bit of a break from releasing music. Am I seeing that correctly? As
uh,
far
yeah, well, we're not gonna, well, yeah, this is kind of, we always do towards the end. I say we because we're basically, me and my partner Clayton, we write and produce everything together. So and he plays live with me on stage. So we're basically a duo. It's just he's very shy and
yeah.
doesn't want to be part of the
Okay.
front stuff. But yeah, we always sort of use this time to write new material and get all our stuff together. And normally that sort of is from September to December, so we have a bit more time. But because we had all this pressure, obviously in a great way again, to release more music, we're like, okay, we'll get another one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really, really nice time to just sit back on, because what we tend to do is I write either on the guitar or piano, all year, and then we'll just sort of sit down. And I'll play him all my like little demos, and then he'll, you know, whichever ones like sort of resonate with him as well, we'll work on. So yeah, we're just like I said, in the midst of moving house, taking a bit of a break from releasing for the rest of the year and working on new stuff. So it's been really fun.
Nice. So how long have you been pursuing music, like I guess professionally?
Yeah, I guess I've been releasing music since, I mean, music's, I've always, you know, been singing and performing, but properly, yeah, professionally gigging my original material, releasing music since 2017. So when's that? Is that 7? Is it 7 years? I'm not very good at maths.
Yeah. 7, 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really cool. It's and before then it was just kind of a hobby you were doing. Like, were you doing like cover stuff, or was that just kind of when you started pursuing music altogether?
No, I kind of been playing like in and out of pubs and busking and stuff, honestly, since I was like 13. But I was more like leaning on like folky stuff because I used to play the piano, but that was too heavy to ever take out gigs and stuff. And then I saw my friend playing the ukulele, and I thought that looks light and easy. So I picked up that for a little bit, and like I did quite a bit of busking with it, and like some pub gigs and stuff around my and then when it came to me starting to, and you know, I wrote a few songs on it and stuff, and then when it came to me starting to release my own stuff, I was listening to a lot of dance music, and I've always really loved pop music. And then I was like, okay, I need to start thinking seriously about my direction and what I want to be, and you know, what do I want to give to an audience and things like that, and what will give me the most joy with making music. So that's kind of how I landed on, releasing more, you know, like poppy dancey stuff, really.
Yeah. Nice. And when you were kind of going through that process, were you listening to anybody in particular for like inspiration, like musically speaking?
Honestly, I know this is really terrible. Yeah, I was loads, but someone that actually really, really inspired me was I met a producer who was the first producer I worked with called Dan Gowdy, and he had a duo, like a production duo at the time called, I can't remember, I think they were called Dusk. They were, and they were incredible, and just all the stuff that they were coming out with, I was so inspired by. So when I got in the studio with him, I was like, okay, well, these are my songs, and I really, really love your stuff, and I'm really inspired of it, and I just basically wanted to sound similar to yours. And he was like, okay, we can do that. But it was really instrumental in being in the studio with him, because it just helped me pick up so much of more of an understanding of what the elements of what made up, you know, his original material were, and sort of I could take, you know, away all the drums and the bass, everything like that, and start to really work and develop my own sound within sort of his, you know, the stuff that he's given me. So I would say he was honestly my biggest inspiration. I also really liked, do you know the dance producer called Felix Jan?
I'm not familiar, no.
No, I think he's German. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I really loved all of his stuff as well. So I was listening to him a lot, and I was like, I just love this feel good, uplifting, you know, stuff. I want to make music that makes people dance and just forget everything, and you know, so yeah.
Nice. That's cool. That was I'm guessing like that more dancey pop stuff. That was something that you were always kind of into, even growing up, or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've always really loved it. Well, to be honest, all pop music, but yeah, I've never really been much of a ballad girl. I'm definitely more the upbeat pop music.
Nice. Right. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, and so just kind of, you said 2017 was when you kind of started pursuing it professionally or seriously, or like however we want to word it.
Yeah.
And then when did you kind of start releasing music? Was that in 2017 or
it was in 2017. Yeah. So at the beginning of 2017 was when I started to really think, okay, well, what am I going to do? What songs do I want to make? And I decided put out 2 covers first of all that were in the style, and then
Yeah.
start original music.
What kind of
So yeah, I
what kind
kind
of
of started at the beginning of the year and then started to release towards the end of 2017.
Nice, nice. What kind of covers were you doing there originally?
I did a cover of Crush by Jennifer Page.
Okay.
You know that one? And then a cover of Together in Electric Dreams by Phil Oakey.
Okay.
Uh,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. And so obviously right now you're kind of on a we'll call it a standstill or a hiatus as you we come through Christmas and all that stuff and you move house, but are you still is that a standstill from writing, recording and playing shows, or are you kind of still
Just
playing?
just releasing actually. So we're in the midst of writing and recording
Yeah.
mainly. I don't think we have any shows planned coming up for the rest of the year, but yeah, I think honestly just mainly really focused right now on yeah, writing and getting enough material together for next year that we're really happy with and really excited about.
Nice. Are you hoping to do another like EP next year, or are you kind of seeing yourself staying in the singles realm?
I think singles for a while, just because I think with an EP, I really like moods and concepts. And right now, I don't, there's never really been a pocket of time this year where I've sat down and written a bunch of songs about that sort of time, that
Hmm.
time era and time stamp. And for me, an EP really, well, for my EPs, really needs to be that. That's why I feel like this is a body of work, as in it's a body of time, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
And I've not really had that this year. So I think it's just going to be singles, really, of the singles that we really resonate with the most and feel like speak about me. And one thing I really want to try and do this next year, well, this year writing, but next year is just push myself a little bit more with my writing, and just try and get a little bit more personal and a little bit deeper, a little bit more honest, in terms of my story and what I've got to share. I've always been
Mm.
like a little bit nervous to do that, and I'll sort of envelope things in metaphors. But I think something I definitely want to experiment with is just being a little bit more, yeah, a little bit,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Fair. Why do you think you've been nervous sharing some of these more personal stories?
Do you know, it's not so, it's just something I've not really been super used to, because I was into poetry, and I always, when in my poetry style, I was very much writing in metaphors again, rather than
Hmm.
frank. So I think I just carried that into my songwriting, really, and it's just been a style of mine that I've continued. For example, like Your Stranger from the third EP that I just released
Yeah.
is actually, it kind of sort of sounds like it's about someone that's chasing after someone. They're not really sure what's happening, whereas actually what it's about the music industry and how fickle it can be, and how we always feel like we're chasing something that we're never going to get and that nothing's enough. So I kind of like writing in that way, but I really love the way that Sabrina Carpenter writes, and how sort of
Yeah.
cheap and fun. Like, I feel like she's really inspired me to think, oh, let's get a bit more playful and a little bit more personal and really just own your story. And as well, do you know, I mean, this is completely on the other side of things, but Ren as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just totally like, it really reminds me of, I was super mesmerized by Eminem when I was a kid, and I feel like Ren is sort of the new that for me. And again, I admire so much how just completely unfiltered it is, and I'd love to, obviously in my style and in my way, I'd love to have the courage to be able to just speak my mind in that way.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
That people get offended, especially if it's real and it's from your life, you're probably going to alienate someone.
Right.
um yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's one of those things that it's like I think what the fear really comes from is like that backlash of being too honest.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And but in reality, I think that's what's going to get people to like really relate with you as a musician is that honesty. And then like the people that have a problem with it, were they ever really supporting you anyways, you
Mm,
know? So
yeah, it's really true.
yeah.
It is. We'll see. We'll see for next year
Right.
what I'm out with. I'm saying all this, it might not happen.
That's fair. You know, it's one of those things where you also have to be comfortable with the music and you have to be comfortable performing it and playing it. Like if you write a song and it goes viral or it gets a whole bunch of attention, but you're not comfortable playing it because it puts you in a bad headspace or a, you know, whatever it is, then what was the point, you know?
I think that actually happened with. Do you know the artist Peach PRC? She's from Australia.
Uh, Sounds familiar, but yeah, go ahead.
Blew up on. She was doing like covers, and she's really funny. And she blew up on TikTok. And I think one song that was really traumatic to her that she did share sort of went viral on there. And then she was a bit like, "I'm never going to play it at a live show." So
Yeah,
just did it online. So yeah, I feel like that can happen, can't it? If
yeah,
you're not careful.
absolutely. So it's one of those things where it's just like it's got to be a fine balance, especially as a musician that plays out. And yeah, so I feel
Yeah.
it.
Um,
Um, but you chose her is your current single. What's the story behind this song?
it's actually, I've actually never shared this with anyone. Um, so I'm in a really happy, like I say, me and my partner have been together for like 5 years, coming up 6 next year, actually. But I had this really, really horrible dream that he had this really close friend that was a girl, and that they just like they hung out all the time, and I just noticed like a slightly off energy from her
Mm,
towards me. And this is really weird because I never dream. And yeah, this dream sort of played out that um yeah, she was basically, it seemed like to me, making a move on him. And like I remember
mm,
just waking up and feeling really, really like jealous and really angry
mm.
at him. And then I had to like just take myself away and be like, this is not logical. This is it's literally a dream. You need to chill out. So that's kind of what it actually was about. And I thought later that day, I've remembered this, and I'm gonna do something with it. I'm gonna write a song about it.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what You Chose Her is about.
Nice. And how long has that one kind of been sitting on the back burner?
We wrote it. So I wrote it initially in lockdown. Then we started to work on it together ages ago. I think like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We got it together. We had loads of fun making it, and then yeah, we've been playing it live for a good couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
it's that song, it's that song where it's like we were talking about it earlier where you'd been playing it out so often that people were just kind of asking when it was going to be released. And it's like you'd love to kind of just always have those songs where it's like, yeah, we don't have to release it, but then just enough people ask, and it's like, well, maybe we're being stupid by not releasing it.
yeah,
So
yeah. We played Oxford Pride, and loads of people afterwards, and they were like, "Where? This is the song we like. Like,
yeah,
please, we need to release it."
right. So kind of looking forward, obviously, like we had mentioned, you're kind of taking a little bit of a break from releasing music and all that fun stuff. But outside of music, like what do you like to do? What do you like to get into, like to decompress, to get away from things?
I'm still figuring that out, to be honest.
Right.
um, yeah, I'd love to sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is what I do. Let me think. Well, we got a dog recently, so she's taken up a lot of our time in a really, really great way.
Okay.
She was a rescue, so we've really enjoyed training her. She's just the best. So that's been really lovely. I know this sounds a bit disconnected because it's still music related, but I love to play the piano as well, in a more classical sense rather
Yeah.
than, songwriting. And I'm really boring. I just like doing scales up and
Yeah.
in the circle of his. And yeah, what else do I like to do? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I know I sound like a really boring person. I'm really trying to stretch my mind and think what I actually do apart from music. I like to paint as well. Not that I do it, but I really love painting. And it's a really good switch off. Not that much fun, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you are in the process of moving house, so it's just kind of like that needs to be the focus right now, I feel. So
Yeah, it does. Yeah. There's not really anything else going on apart from writing, making content. Obviously, that's a big part of the
yeah.
job. Writing, making content, walking and training Bella, and packing boxes basically is my life right now.
Right. Is there any song that you're currently working on that's kind of interesting that you hope turns into something?
Yeah, actually. There's a song. So this year I had a lot of vocal issues with my voice, and I was really worried that I had nodules or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I really overdid it last year. We were playing like 3-4 gigs a
Oh,
week,
wow.
and I also singing as well, so I was doing that. So it was just really intense on my voice. And it started to get to the point towards the end of the year where like I could feel a bit of pain on my left hand side, and I was really worried. And then I got a chest infection, and I basically just was fatiguing really quickly, which in my many years of singing has never happened. So I was super worried about it. And then I went to see a physio, and they said they thought I'd strained one of the muscles in my larynx.
Oh no.
So I was feeling like pretty angry at myself for just like prioritizing, exposure and money and things over actually the health of my body. And it got me thinking that we actually do that a lot in life, really. So I just came home all miserable and wrote this song called Put You Through Hell, which is basically about me like abusing my voice. And then funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago, I was playing my stuff to my boyfriend, and he was like, oh, I really like this one. And then he was like, how you said, oh, you want to like sort of go deeper. I feel like we could talk about like all of the physical issues you've had like since growing up, basically, and just go, rather than make it just about your voice, about holistically how you've sort of abused your body in different ways. I used to have a lot of issues when I was a teenager and in my early 20s with like eating habits. So it goes into that quite a bit, and sort of the journey of how you can sort of get there, and how when you look back you think, God, how was I in that place? But it feels so normal at the time, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's basically what it's about, and I'm really excited by it. And we played it acoustically live at a show a couple of weeks ago, and it went down really well. I'm going to post a clip actually, so you'll be able to hear it.
Nice.
So I'm really excited about that. So when we're moving on Sunday, we're gonna like really sit down and we've recorded like a demo vocal and the guitar, but we want to like get into the bones of like bulking it out, and I'm really excited.
Nice. That's really cool. I'm excited to hear it, because I think like you had mentioned, that is a really relatable subject matter, because I think a lot of people go through it, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Just kind of the bounds in which they push themselves isn't always the healthiest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that's a good like first step in the trial of trying to be a little bit more of a vulnerable Freddie Joon.
I think so. Yeah, I'm really, I feel like it's the right direction. I'm really excited. And I think that's why I'm just going to do singles next year, because I think I want to really focus on, the ones that are really the most honest and the most about my journey and my story, and what makes me who I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So I don't want to keep you here too much longer, but I do appreciate you joining us on our pancreatic cancer fundraiser. It's a cause near and dear to my heart, so I really appreciate you joining us. Um, if anybody wants to check out your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. But yeah, if you want to check out music, I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you would listen to music. Freddie Joon is Freddie like Freddie Mercury with an IE, and June is JOON. And then you can find me under that name on Instagram and TikTok and all of that. Yeah, everything really.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to check out You Chose Her, it'll be in the description below, all that fun stuff. The Spotify link. Yeah. But once again, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll be back here in just a little bit.